Iran is a country that's marked for regime change by the West, right? And is seen as an enemy country by the West. So whatever happens that's bad there in terms of human rights or anything, that is magnified. But then in a country that's an ally of the West, like Saudi Arabia, those crimes tend to be minimized. Noam Chomsky has talked about this, about worthy victims and unworthy victims, right? Worthy victims are the victims in our enemy countries' territory, right? Those are worthy victims that we should focus on. And we don't focus on the unworthy victims, which are the victims either of the U.S. itself or its allies. As you know, in the United States, about 1,000 people a year are killed by police. And of those, about 40 to 50 a year are women. But as you say, every time a woman is killed by the police here, it does not result in a, media frenzy as the death of Masha Amini did in Iran. So that's how it goes. It's how it always goes. Another example of this is, the focus on, for example, the war in Ukraine, which is on the front pages of the newspapers every day. But the war in Yemen that the U.S. and UK are supporting, which has caused the worst humanitarian crisis on earth, gets almost no publicity in the United States. As far as most Americans are concerned, that war doesn't even exist, right? So this is how it goes. This is how the propaganda model works. They're trying a major pressure campaign against the Iranian people to cause regime change. So they are trying to starve the Iranian people out to cause them suffering, but at the same time, they want to increase the propaganda in Iran against the government. I don't think the U.S. will ever stop it until there is regime change. I mean, I think they could go on forever. I mean, this war against Iran has been going on since 1979, right? Since the Islamic Revolution against the Shah. The U.S. will never stop until it either overthrows the government or just creates complete chaos. But now the U.S. seems to want to just leave countries in shambles, like in Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, Libya. It's just creating chaos, wherever it goes. But I think now the U.S. is very happy to just destroy a country, right? Syria is another example. Syria will never return to what it was. Syria was one of the most beautiful countries, hospitable countries in the world for tourists. It will never return to that. And that's what the plan is for Iran, and that saddens me, and I was in Iran in 2017, and I was in Tehran and Isfahan. Isfahan is incredible. And as I saw these beautiful antiquities, the Armenian churches and the beautiful mosques and the Zoroastrian ruins, it occurred to me that if the U.S. got its way, these things would be gone. As many of those types of things are gone in Syria, including the old Roman antiquities in places like Palmyra. That is what the plan is for Iran if the U.S. got a chance. It's very scary to me, very scary. Well, I think obviously oil is a big reason, probably the number one reason. But I think also in the case of the Middle East, the U.S. supports the idea of a greater Israel. Israel is basically the Western surrogate in the Middle East, and the U.S. wants it to expand. I would say those are the two big reasons. And control. The U.S. wants to control everything. It wants to control the entire earth.